Our special guest today is Albert Colominas. He is a marketer, but he also is the creator of a company I want you to check out. It's called Outdoor Bengal. And as we've discovered, his life just started getting full of, ready for it, purpose once he adopted Mia, his Bengal cat. So you started delving into cat training and behavior. You do your homework. You're a marketer. So you're doing your research. So when did you realize I can have, a box of Kleenex and I can live with a cat, but this cat's a star?
So it's good you ask, because there's a transition where you realize that the cat is extremely smart. And from the moment you realize the cat is extremely smart and the moment you decide to do something about it, there's a gap in realization. And with Mia, she was giving me these cues that she understood what was happening around. If I opened the fridge, she would come by, and it's like that's positive reinforcement per se. At the time, I did not know what that was, but that was basically the cat linking something that was happening externally with something that she was rewarded with, because every time I was opening the fridge, if she came by, I would give her something. And these little things, or I would get the keys. And when I was giving the keys, she knew that I would give her a head rub, and then she would climb on the counter to get her head rub. And these little cues that, like, she really understands what's going on here. So I started researching about dog training. Well, I looked for cat training. I did not really see much. So I started looking at dog training to see how people train their dogs. And I started using dog training on my cat Mia.
Well, and with cats, they're all about predictability. They're very smart at observing us, right? So your cat, even though she was tiny and young, she was picking up these consistent cues. So when did you say, I think she would be an adventure cat? What were the cues? And tell us some of the things that you two do together now.
So it's another funny one. So she was looking out the window all the time. I have a small, tiny balcony in my apartment, and I would open the door and she would run like straight outside as soon as the door opened. So I was like, she's really curious about the outdoors. She has a ton of energy. What if I walked her? Like she by the time she could sit on command, she would come when called. I think I taught her how to spin, how to wait for her food. So I was like, she's doing all these things that I've never heard a cat could do before. So what if we continue challenging the status quo and we try to get Mia to walk on a leash? And I did a little bit of research here because I wanted to make sure that I was not overwhelming her, because cats are predators, but they are also prey, and they are a lot more cautious when they go into the outside. So I was like, let me see if it can be done. But then very quickly, I remembered that there's more cats outdoors than there's indoors. Like, indoor cats are a new thing. That's that's the modernity of it. But cats are designed to be outdoors. They have sharp claws. They have huge, beautiful reflexes. So I was like, she can really go outdoors. Let's just make sure that she goes outdoors in the most comfortable way. So did some research. I learned that you cannot walk a cat using a collar because they can choke themselves, or if you're using a cat collar, they break away, so you might lose your cat. And I got a cat harness. Well, I got a ton of cat harnesses, and when I found one that she liked, then we started going on adventures. And sorry, I went on a rabbit hole, but you were asking about what adventures.
That's okay. We're talking cats and rabbit holes. But so now people need to know, you're not just taking Mia around the block. I understand she probably has a kitty passport now. Where have you taken her? What are some of the places?
Yeah, she has a kitty passport. And the reason why, and the first time I traveled for pleasure, but then I'm from Spain. I visit my mom at least twice a year. I try to make it more. So I wanted to make her comfortable when traveling because I did not want to leave her behind. And I also did not want to overwhelm her every time I was taking her on a trip.
Okay.
So I wanted to do some training with smaller trips around the country before I took her overseas. And it was still in the middle of the pandemic. Things started to open up. And I was with this kitten that had a ton of energy. And I also needed to go outside. And I decided to go on a road trip with a girl I was seeing at the time. Didn't work out. I have great experience in
Stick with cats. Stick with cats, Albert.
That was my realization. That was my realization. Mia's gonna be there forever. So we decided to go on a road trip, and I took Mia with us, and that was the first time that I realized that she can really enjoy and thrive outdoors. We went to Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico. We did, I think, close to 4,000 miles
Wow.
on a van. And then it's also when our Instagram, TikTok, sorry, at the time exploded. We were sharing our adventures and people started to get curious. How are you doing this? How did you teach her to walk on a leash? How do you manage Poo and Pee when you're traveling? And
Yeah.
then
Going 70 miles an hour and your kitty's got to go and you've got air conditioning on and they drop a deuce. You better keep going.
Yeah, exactly. You open the windows and hope for the best. No, with the van, it was kind of easy because we had a portable litter box and we set it up on the floor of the co-pilot. So she was inside her carrier at the time, and she would start meowing. We would open the door, and even while driving, she would know where the sand is, where the litter box was, and she would just do her thing. She would cover her thing, and we could continue walking, going. Then it's true that still stinks, so you need to do something about it. But it's better than if she does it on the carpet.
So what people want to follow you on TikTok, Albert? What is it? How do they go?
So our TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere it's the same. It's Outdoor Bengal.
Okay.
And yeah, you'll find us in every single platform, social media platform that we're present with that handle.
Good thing you got marketing as a background. So you actually, I understand, sailed around Long Island with her?
Yes. We did a few beautiful trips. We went to this road trip. We went to the Caribbean for a bit during COVID as well. I was still working remotely, and we went to the Caribbean for 5 months, and we were living there for 5 months.
What countries?
In the Virgin Islands, because the company I work for, they wanted us to stay in the US. So I took the USA map and I was, how far south can I go? And I realized that there was something even south, like more south than Florida, which was the Virgin Islands. So there we went. And it was the same time. It was Eastern time, just like it's 1 hour less than Eastern time, but it was also very easy to manage from a work point of view. So that was also beautiful. And then coming back from the Caribbean, I had a couple of friends that owned a sailboat, and they also have a cat. They got Coyote. It's the name of their orange cat. They got Coyote because of me. They learned that, cats can go outside. Cats can do fun stuff. They were living on the sailboat at the time, and they decided to get a Coyote to accompany them on their trips. And they went on the summer of 21, I think it was. They went on a round trip circumnavigation along Long Island, and Mia and I went along with them, and it was beautiful.
Now, what are some things Mia can do? Can Mia swim? Can Mia go on a paddleboard? What can Mia do in the world of outdoors?
So she's ridden almost every single means of transportation. So she rides with me on my bike. She hikes with me, either walking or on my shoulder. We have done paddleboarding. We have gone sailing. She's pretty good at car drives. She will stick her head out the window.
Oh,
Yeah, note for everybody listening: make sure you have a good harness on your cat if
Yeah.
you if you let them do that. But she's very good with movement and speed. She likes the air on her face,
So
but
this
she does
led you.
not swim.
Oh, she
She does
doesn't
not
swim.
swim. One of the
Okay.
things that I read when I was looking for what Bengal cats do and what Bengal cats are, it's that they love water, and
Uh
I
oh.
just learned that that goes cat to cat. Not all Bengal cats will like going on a leash. Not all Bengal cats will like water, and Mia is one of those that
Well,
she
that's
like.
all right.
I've
That makes
tried,
that makes
but
her a little more human, I guess. So you've not only got this adventure cat, you're a marketer, and you're like, wait a minute, there's some products out there that I've been using. I wish I could just tweak them and make them better. So we've got a few minutes left. Tell us how you ended up coming up with some outdoor Bengal line of products. And can you name some of the things that you've done?
yes, absolutely. So one of the things that I do for a living is understand consumer needs and then take products that are in the market and see if those consumer needs are met. And if they are met, just communicate them to consumers so that they know that the product can solve the needs that they have. But if the needs are not met, what we do in my team is we find ways to improve those products so that consumers can get the results from the products they're buying that they are expecting. And I use that expertise to taking the dozens of cat harnesses that we tried over the last 2 years that before I launched our own cat harness. And we decided to take the best of all of them and remove the worst of all of them and design our own cat harness.
Wow.
And it's been an adventure. It's been extremely fun. And the cat harness, it's called Houdini because it's
Perfect.
yeah, I started calling it escape proof, but the reality is that there's no such thing as an escape proof cat
Mhm.
harness because cats are Houdinis. So now I call it escape resistant. It has an escape proof system, but it's true that if you tether a cat wearing any harness for an extended period of time, the cat will escape. But it's a very safe cat harness that's comfortable for Mia and by extension for all cats. But then we like these developing products thing, so we also created a clicker training kit.
Yep.
So it comes with a target stake, with a clicker, with a short quick start manual, and we also developed a card game.
Yeah,
over
I was
30
interested
tricks.
in that. I understand it's called the card game, the Click Crusade Cat Training Card Game.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
how does that work?
So something that I struggled with when I started learning more about operant conditioning and clicker training and learning about things that dogs can do, it was coming up with things to teach me as she was learning super fast. And there was not enough resources for me to gather inspiration from. And after these 3.5 years of teaching her tricks, she knows over 40 tricks now. So
Wow.
I decided to create this short, easy to understand cards for everybody that's training their cat and they want to go beyond sit and stay and spin and lay down. And they want to teach their cat to maybe jump on their shoulders or jump through through your arms, or I don't know, get off the counter, like having a bunch of get on the carrier on command, all those tricks that maybe some of them not even dogs can do.
Yes.
I wanted to just put them on a card game that was easy to understand for everybody.
I like that. So what would you say are the top 3 pretty tough tricks that Mia seems to like or does so well? What are 3? What would you say? They might
My favorite one it's jumping on my shoulder on command.
Yeah.
And that's something that some cats do naturally. Mia was not doing naturally, and I was fascinated by it. And we found a very simple way to teach her to do that, which is using your knee as a ladder. So I go down a little bit, I offer the knee, and then she jumps from the floor to my knee, from the knee to my shoulder, and then she crawls to the other side of my head to stick the head out next to mine. That's my
So
favorite
you look
trick
like
by
a
far.
pirate with a parrot, right?
It's a heavy parrot, but yes.
All right, that's number one. What's a couple
That's
others?
number one. Number two, it's a combination of this one and riding a bike. I first taught Mia to ride on a bike with me on the basket, but then she was more comfortable on my shoulder than on the basket. So she would jump from the basket to my shoulder as we were riding the bike. So
Oh.
now I don't have a basket anymore. She goes on my shoulder when we're riding the bike. And this is another thing that I love. I think I love these two tricks because dogs could not do this. They
No.
don't have sharp enough claws. So I'm like, hell yeah, hooray for cats. She's doing something that a dog cannot do.
And what
And
would be the third?
The third one, which it's not the most useful, but it's something that wows people a lot. When I travel with Mia and we're at the airport and she is walking on her leash and the gate open and there's everybody standing up and it's our time to get inside the plane, I just point at the carrier and I say crate, and she will just hop onto the carrier, let me close it, and it's just beautiful. And everybody that's around that see this, they're like, how in the world did you teach your cat to get on the carrier on command? So that's another one that I found funny.
Well, we're almost out of time. I want everyone to please go to outdoorbengal.com. That's also the name for all his social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. But Albert, what's something that Mia has done to make you a better human?
She has made me a better human in so many ways. I cannot thank her enough. I have focused on myself and my career for a long part of my life. And as soon as I got Mia, I realized that someone else's happiness was entirely dependent on me. I've had partners and I want to say that I try to be the best partner I can be, but I like strong people that are independent, so they don't need me. And I try to find partners that don't need me, that they just want me. But with Mia, she depends entirely on me to get her enrichment, to get her food, to get her care, to get her love. And that made me a much more selfless person because I know that I need to provide for someone that depends entirely on me.
That was beautiful. If I was your mom, I'd be so proud of you, young man. Hey, we're speaking with Albert Colominas. Please check out Outdoor Bengal. Please follow Mia. What an adventure cat. And I thank you for being on the show. I hope you had a good time, Albert.
Thank you so much for having me, Arden.